Alright, what's poppin' YouTube? It's your boy, SK Visuals, Soul King Photography, Solomon Kennedy, Joker 850X. I got a lot of monikers. But today is a very important day, and it's crucial that we pay homage and give respect to the fathers that are out there doing what they're supposed to do. And the reason I say that is because I'm someone who was raised on, I would say, a solid foundation in terms of a family structure. I had my mom, my dad, the majority of my life up until I became a young adult, and my father passed away in 2015. Within that, I would say it showed me a certain dynamic that I felt was very important and crucial to my development as a man and my development into an adult. And due to that, just where I am today in life, I'm always looking at society as a whole and looking at a lot of the problems that we all face and seeing what the commonalities are in between them. And what I've come to learn is that the biggest common issue where young men or just men in general go wrong is that lack of foundation. And the reason why that's key is because it teaches you key components on how to love, how to care, how to treat, how to hurt, how to express, and it gives range and credence to helping a boy or man understand himself a lot better. So, for example, let's take a kid who was raised in the city, right? Maybe his dad is in jail or he passed away or whatever the case may be. And let's say this kid is around the age of, I don't know, maybe 12, 13. Okay. And so with that in mind, we're going to think about things that take place during that time and why it's crucial for there to be some form of a male figure presence to help that boy understand himself as he's transitioning into a young man. All the extra footsteps that you hear me walking, but within that, we get to a certain place when we're in our teenage state where we want to rebel, we want to go against everything we know, we want to try different things, we want to experience different things, we want to express ourselves more because we understand a lot more. And where a fatherly role or a fatherly figure or just a male archetype in a boy's life to help him transition through that phase and come out on the other side as a more well-rounded man, it's rare. And I say it's rare because I see the same cycle repeated across the board, so many places, so many faces, but it's the same cycle. Young men lacking older men there in their life for guidance, which leads to them to making certain bad decisions. And what we don't want is to keep a cycle of basically manic and bad behavior or bad decision making from constantly taking place, especially when we can either lend a ear, lend a voice, or just be there in regards to what a brother may need. And when I say a brother, a young black man, a young white man, whatever the case may be, no matter who the person is, something I just naturally try to do is impart a little bit of wisdom on people, especially younger men, because I know we're looked at in a certain light, more so black men, we're looked at in a certain light, and due to that, there's a certain view and lens on us already, and a lot of the times, it's a misunderstood or preconceived one based on just surroundings or where the person may come from. And I'll give an example, right? I grew up in Mount Pleasant, Florida, where I'm currently standing right now, out here in the country, in the woods. Only neighbors were my family, you know what I'm saying? Or the Hispanics that I rode the bus with that were basically family too. So in regards to that, first time I ever went to a situation where I was in the city, which we consider Tallahassee, a lot of people from Tallahassee, they had something to say in conjunction to how I spoke or just how I kind of carried myself, my swagger type vibe. And what that taught me at a young age, because something my parents had imparted on me as a young man, was don't allow the judgment of others to weigh on you or weigh you down, especially when they don't know you or understand you. So what this taught me inherently was how to articulate myself in a way that was deemed acceptable by a vast majority, or cater to the means of thinking for certain people. Because at that time I wasn't as intelligent as I am emotionally, and I didn't understand as much as I do now. But what I did understand was people and what their assumptions would always lead to. And a lot of the times I would play on that just based on my personality. And I'll give another example, right? So I didn't work at a lot of different jobs, but I started a job, I want to say back in 2022. And when I first started, my purpose in coming into the place was to give off a certain energy so people really couldn't read me. And oh shit, yeah, we gotta go, because that's a whole lot of yellow jacks, and we ain't got time for that. No siree. We ain't even play with them. So I have my camera sitting over there on that Honda, and there's a bunch of yellow jackets coming out the trunk, and we ain't trying to play with them. But anyway, back towards the house. But yeah, I gave off a certain energy because I didn't want people to be able to read me, and I wanted people to misperceive me until they got to know me, or until they attempted to get to know me. And another thing my dad always taught me was never give people too much, because before you get to know them, you don't want them to know too much about you. And what I took that as was protect yourself at all times in regards to who you may come across, no matter where it's at. And basically what it came to teach me was how to read people from a distance by keeping a certain guard up, but allowing people to feel like they knew me or understood me. Gave me certain advantages in terms of just knowing who to trust, who not to trust. And a lot of that was predicated on how I was brought up. And again, I'm not taking anything away from the part that my mother played, because she's a very compassionate and loving woman. But I feel like had I not had my dad there, it's a lot of things that piqued my interest that could have influenced me had I not had him there to ask so many questions, or not had him there to kind of impart certain knowledge upon me. As a kid, I was very hot-headed. My nature was, I don't care, it is what it is. And I was always ready to fight. I didn't care, because that's just how my cousins had kind of built me, what they built me into, what they set me up for, you know what I'm saying? I want to say I was in 4th grade twice. Fuck it, I'll say it. The second time I went to this school, this different elementary school, like closer to home, more so in the country. And one of the things my cousin Elijah, who told me, he was like, "Hey, no matter what you do, because of where you from, they gonna try you. So mean mug anybody and always be ready to throw hands." And I'm like, well, I gotta feel this way, but okay. And I took that knowledge, you know what I'm saying, and what I realized is it led to a lot of people, like a lot of kids, to not truly understand who I was, with the exception of a small few that they either saw that look or they didn't really care about the look, and they was just like, "Hey, I want to talk to this person." So I'll never forget, first day of elementary school, end of the day, bell rings. I'm standing by the door getting ready to walk out, because we're learning how everything kind of functions and whatnot. And these two chicks walk up to me, and I had already made one friend in the form of this taller guy named Dante. And I ran into these two chicks, stopped, and they talked to me, and they asked me my name. We kind of chopped it up for a little bit, and the first question they asked was, "Why you look so mad all the time?" And not realizing how critical of a role that would play on my later face, just in general, I answered exactly what my cousins had told me. But it wasn't a front to protect myself in the sense of like, oh, I don't want anybody bothering me. It was me listening to my cousin, a older male figure, telling me as this is a means to be prepared or just be on guard, because you might have to protect yourself. Not that it's necessary, but you might have to. And if you have this type of presence already, you're less likely for people to try to step on your toes, essentially. And I took that in stride, and I used that same methodology, whatever. I used that same method throughout like every form and facet of my life whenever I went into a new place. And one of the things like I appreciate my father for teaching me was being compassionate and caring. Like I said, as a kid, my attitude was I don't give a fuck. It is what it is. I don't care. You know, and something my dad always told me was, you better learn how to care before you lose something that you care about. And when I lost him, I understood the full brunt of what that meant, even though he had told me so many years ago as a kid. And what it taught me was to be a more, even if I kept that same expression no matter where I went, it taught me to be a more human and caring person, because I often found when I didn't care so much, I missed out on a lot of opportunities, or I overlooked a lot of opportunities because I just didn't care. But when I started putting a little bit more of myself into things, thanks to my dad telling me to care more, I find and get a lot more enjoyment out of certain things, like simple things. Like for instance, I sell weed to people all day. That's my 9 to 5. I sell weed to old people, and I enjoy that job. Why? Because I'm helping people get what they need in a sense of relief or a sense of peace or whatever that case may be based on the information I require. And I run into a lot of different walks of life, and no matter who the person is or what the person is, there's always a commonality that goes back to my foundation that seems to come out. And my family was a big Christian family. I'm not gonna say like I'm as thoroughly engaged as they are, but I am very well spiritually endowed and understanding and comprehending things in relation to spirituality, emotion, and energy. I'm a huge empath, so I always felt, whether I wanted to lean into those feelings or not, I always felt the energy or just the pain or expressions of other people, which led to me making a lot of the friends I made growing up, because I could feel that something was impacting them in a certain way and they didn't really know how to speak on it or channel it. And a lot of people I know, they kind of learn how to get through these things from passive conversations with me or just us growing together as friends type vibe. And I'm not saying any particular names or anything because I'm not trying to take credit from, what someone else views as their own personal growth. But I definitely feel like I played a huge part in a lot of just friends that I made. I feel like I played a huge impact in their lives into maybe helping them see things from a different light, or maybe viewing things in a different way. And a lot of times when people are short-sighted in understanding you, don't take that as a negative. I say that to my young men because it's going to always happen. There's always going to be a misunderstanding just based on how you carry yourself. So you can't let that be a deterrent factor in you being you. Something you have to learn how to do. And I'm thankful to my dad for showing me this and teaching me this is care but don't care, right? Care about the things that are important. Don't care about the things that aren't important. Things that are important, you've been a good person. You've been a loving person. You actually speaking how you feel versus holding things in. It's a lot that goes into it, but basically the general consensus that I'm trying to make is don't let the opinion of people trouble you or bother you, because everyone's gonna have an opinion. Everybody's entitled to that, right? We all got a brain, we all think, so we're entitled to that. But don't allow opinions or indifference in the way you may feel or think make you feel less than or think less than of yourself, because it's a lot that's already trying to break us down and weigh us down. And if you allow constant opinions or constant words that don't matter in the grand scheme of things to affect you, you're going to be troubled like often and all the time. But in regards to taking credence to what people say, yes, hear them. I'm not saying disregard everything. What I'm saying is take the good from the bad and use it to help you grow. So if someone says something about you, listen to it and sit back, think about it. If it feels applicable, then if you want to change that, do that. If you feel like it'll be something that'll benefit you and make you a better person, do that. Like, one of the biggest problems with society right now is the violence, and it's a violence from a lack of acceptance. It's a violence from a lack of opportunity to voice certain things. It's a violence from a lack of empathy, and that all starts from the foundation and the structure of how people are brought up. Like, I want to use like videos like this in a sense to just, I don't know, maybe educate us all in a way that could help us see just how much easier it is to be a good person and how it'll get you a little bit further along in life. I ain't made it nowhere yet, but you know, I'm on my way, and I'm positive that the decisions I made and the choices I make will definitely keep me going there. And again, as I keep saying, I'm grateful for my foundation, because it taught me everything that I am, and it taught me how to be who I am, and it helped me understand how to view certain things in a way that it wouldn't afflict me in a negative light. And I'm grateful for both of my parents allowing me and my little brother to be freely expressive, creatively expressive, and not shunning us for being different in regards to what we enjoyed or how we enjoyed it. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Keep doing what y'all doing. To the ones that are uncles and big brothers and big cousins, you know, step up and give your younger family some guidance. Teach them how not to hit the same walls you hit. Even if they don't want to listen, pull them to the side and put it in their ear. We have to have these uncomfortable conversations in order to get to more comfortable places. And the only way we do that is by attempting or trying, you know. And I can do better at it myself, other than just random strangers. I should reach out more to my younger cousins and whatnot and holler at them and just see how they doing, especially because a lot of them are becoming young adults. And I will do that more often because it's important. But today, because it was Father's Day and I no longer have my father, I want to impart some fatherly knowledge upon any youth that may come across this video, or anyone that just maybe haven't heard things in this type of light. Remember, it's a lot easier to be a good person than it is to be an asshole. Just be genuine in your actions, be loving in your nature, and be free in your spirit. Don't judge people. Don't worry about how other people choose to live their life. But always be a good person. Always share information. Always share experiences. And actually learn to value yourself more than what you deem the words of other people constitute as fact. Trust your intuition more. Use that as your guiding force on how you should maneuver. You know, and this is gonna be my last part. We all have this sensation in our core, right, called intuition, when it comes to how we think, when we're finna make a decision, when we're in a place that's not really safe or uncomfortable. It resonates in the same way in all of us, and I know that because I've talked to a lot of different people in a lot of different walks of life, and generally speaking, we all feel that exact same when something like that is taking place. So, last example I'm gonna give, and then I'm gonna go inside because these mosquitoes eat me up. I lost my train of thought for a moment. What was I saying? There we go. It took me like 5 minutes to come back to that, but intuition. Trust your intuition, that core feeling. Use that as your guiding force. If you're in a situation that, I don't know, makes you feel sick to your stomach, sick to your core, trust that sensation. Don't run from that. Understand that that's your safety net in regards to how to protect your peace and how to protect you. Your body has a certain way of reacting when it feels that it might be in an unsafe place, or it might be in a situation that could turn out in a negative light. And a lot of times I've played around with my intuition in certain situations for trial and error purposes to fully understand, like, all right, is this me just overthinking the situation, or is this my body actually trying to tell me something? And what I came to realize, it was the latter. My body was always trying to tell me something. My energy was trying to tell me something. My conscience, my inner core was trying to warn me or inform me of certain things, so I maybe wouldn't be upset or disappointed in regards to it, or to just overall avoid the outcome. But that's part of living and learning. So again, I say, I wish all the fathers a happy Father's Day, all the dog dads a happy pup day, paw day, whatever you want to fucking call it. And all the young men that's growing up, stay focused, stay driven, and don't let anybody take away from how you feel about yourself in regards to your dreams, where you want to be and where you want to go. Lock in, focus, and remember, the main key to anyone succeeding versus the people that don't is consistency. Stay on it, stay driven, stay hungry, don't get comfortable, don't get complacent. Nobody's ever told you that. I'm telling you that. Lock in, get it done. No matter what it is, you can make it happen. Everybody got the same success story. They kept going. They didn't take no for an answer. They didn't quit. So if you want to win that marathon and get to the place you want to be, focus on you, trust your intuition, be a good person, and by all means, be free. So yeah, peace.